Alright, what's up everybody? Brian here, and this is my thoughts on last night's NXT TakeOver Chicago. I know I did not do I know I didn't do this video last night after TakeOver because, to be honest with you guys, I fell asleep and I totally missed it last night. So I had to go to a buddy of mine's house today, or actually this morning, to watch it, or watch the replay of it. So let's get right into the review. Overall, my thoughts on last night's show was I thought it was another amazing TakeOver event. From top to bottom, each match was great. The opening match was for the NXT Tag Team Championships. It was the Undisputed Era's Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly defending against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. This one was absolutely incredible. There were a couple of times during this match where it looked like Lorcan and Burch were going to walk out the new champions, but in the end, it was the Undisputed Era retained the championships. Once again, Undisputed Era still have possession of the NXT Tag Team Championships. One side note on that matchup. Watching it earlier today from last night, you could tell that Undisputed Era was over in that matchup as far as crowd reaction. Even when they made their entrance to the ring, and then when Lorcan and Burch made their entrance, it was like the crowd was just booed them, or whatever. Yeah, it looked like they were booing them. So, but Undisputed Era was over in this matchup as far as crowd reaction was concerned. The next match was Velveteen Dream taking on Ricochet. This was a match that I was really looking forward to as far as being an amazing matchup, and it did not disappoint either. Both guys delivered move after move. Velveteen Dream near the end of the match tried to go for his Rainmaker elbow drop from across the ring. Ricochet moved out of the way and then capitalized and hit the 630 on the Velveteen Dream. That picked up the victory for him. So a big victory last night at TakeOver for Ricochet, but also hats off to Velveteen Dream for delivering another huge matchup. Even though it was in defeat, still an incredible effort by Velveteen Dream, as well as an incredible effort by Ricochet. This is another match I would recommend checking out, as well as that tag team title match. If you guys did not watch TakeOver last night, this was one match that I would recommend checking out. The next matchup was for the NXT Women's Championship. It was Shayna Baszler defeating Nikki Cross. This one was good. It was pretty decent. The ending, however, was very strange. Shayna Baszler had Nikki Cross trapped in her submission, and instead of tapping out, Nikki had a smile on her face and then passed out. She didn't tap out; she passed out, and Shayna Baszler retained the NXT Women's Championship. So that was a pretty cool finish. Even the commentators were like, Nikki didn't want to tap out; she chose to pass out. She chose to go to sleep. But when after the match was over, and she was like getting to her feet, she was like smiling, and I'm like, strange character that Nikki Cross is. That even in defeat, she smiles because she knows, because she was oh, because the way they have her character portrayed, like she enjoys pain, and then it's like even after she loses, she just smiles, and I'm like, Okay, that was weird. But moving on, they showed a couple of people in the crowd throughout the night, like EC3, Kari Sane, who probably had a vested interest in that NXT Women's title match. Also, former WWN World Champion Keith Lee, who signed with WWE. He was in the crowd last night at NXT TakeOver Chicago. So those were a couple of names in the crowd last night. We'll move on to the NXT Championship match. It was Lars Sullivan challenging Aleister Black. This one I thought was really good. I really did not. I mean, going into this matchup, I did not think this match was going to be any good. Because it's a battle of two big men. But Lars really proved something in his first ever NXT title match. As far as being a challenger, he really brought it to Aleister Black throughout this matchup. Near the end of the match, Aleister Black hit the Black Mass on Lars, and Lars got up, kind of shook it off, was like, "Come on, bring it out, bring something else." So then Aleister Black was like, "You know what?" Boom! Hits him with another Black Mass, and that picked up the victory for him, as Aleister Black retained the NXT Championship last night against Lars Sullivan. So I'm interested to see who's going to be next to step up as far as that NXT title is concerned. Will we see another rematch between these two down the road? We'll have to wait and see. But and that brings us to the main event, which was the street fight between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This one, once again, delivered to end the show. Hats off to both of these guys. I mean, this matchup was amazing, was awesome. What I can't even describe in words how this matchup was. I mean, you had weapons being involved. You had Gargano repaying Ciampa for what happened last year by giving him delivering a move from the top of this like equipment box and through a table, kind of like reminiscent of how Ciampa, when he turned his back on Gargano last year at NXT TakeOver Chicago, and he did this exact same thing, but this time Gargano repaid the favor, and they were carrying Ciampa out on a stretcher, but Gargano's like, no, you're not. That match ain't gonna end. This match ain't ending that way. He brings Ciampa back down to the ring, throws him into the ring, handcuffs his hands behind his back, starts just giving him, while Ciampa's on his knees, starts giving him super kick after super kick, puts him in the Gargano submission, or Gargano escape, I should say. And then there was no referee. Ciampa tapped out, but there was no referee because he got knocked down when Gargano was taking Ciampa back to the ring on the stretcher. He would knock out, Gargano would go outside the ring, knock out other officials, would go to the other side of the ring, and then during the match, or a little bit earlier in the match, Ciampa pulled off the ring, pulled out a little piece in the corner of the ring. He ripped the mat, he ripped off the coverings to reveal the boards underneath, and that is what helped Ciampa pick up the win in this one, as he would, when Gargano was coming onto the ring apron, Ciampa would grab Gargano through the ropes and hit a DDT onto those boards, and then pinned him 1, 2, 3, as Tommaso Ciampa picked up the win in this matchup. I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe I picked Ciampa to win, which was a good pick for me. So big victory for Tommaso Ciampa. Where they go with this feud next, I don't know. Obviously, these two are 1-1 now, so it's going to obviously lead to another match sometime down the road. But the matchup I thought was pretty good. As far as rating a star, as far as star rating, I would give it maybe a 5-star, 6-star match. Basically, the entire show was, every match on this show was incredible. I would recommend this is a show that this is an NXT Takeover event I would recommend checking out for anybody that did not watch it. So from top to bottom, all the matches were great. So I really can't, that's basically what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say that it was a tremendous show once again, an amazing show. I would recommend checking out and judging for yourselves what, as far as the show is concerned, and judging for yourself how you think the show was last night. So with that being said, for anyone that watched NXT TakeOver Chicago last night, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. This has been my review for last night's NXT TakeOver Chicago. Once again, I apologize if I didn't do this video last night, but I figure I'd give my thoughts on the show from last night today. So, with that being said, as always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.